For my inquiry action plan, my problem and frustration was vocabulary development. I wanted to build my students' vocabulary without the busy work of a workbook and all the paper that came with it, photocopying the tests, correcting the workbooks, my students copying the workbook information in the last minute for class, and then their vocabulary wasn't really being built upon. Many of the words they did not match my students' ability or level for their vocabulary. Wasn't really building their vocabulary. Some of the words were too easy, some of them were too hard, and I had no control over the vocabulary. I met with some teachers at my site, another inquiry group, and discussed the system that they were using. They had begun to use Membean. I talked to them about Membean. They showed me what they were doing with Membean in their classroom. I contacted Membean, and they walked me through a webinar explaining their system to me and all of the benefits. I discovered Membean. Membean is an online vocabulary building system, and it tailors each student's vocabulary lessons to their individual ability. Every time they get on Membean, every time they practice Membean, they're reviewing words, they're getting new words, they're building the vocabulary, it's testing their memory, and it sets up electronic quizzes for them based upon their ability. And for many, especially my gamers, especially the boys, they like it because it's like a game. It's interactive and engaging. It has little videos from Saturday Night Live, from Monty Python, from Disney. It engages them in different ways with pictures. It's more exciting and engaging than a standard workbook. When I reflect upon my inquiry action plan, my project, now as a non-BTSA teacher, I find myself using the same strategies that I used for my inquiry action plan in my classroom. For instance, this year I wanted to try something new with research, and I attacked it the same way I attacked my vocabulary problem. I talked to colleagues, I gathered data, I reflected on what I wanted to do, I put a system together, and then I analyzed how effective it is. I reflected on, was it really useful? Did my students get something out of it? How much work did it put on me? Was it beneficial? And then I decided if I'm going to continue it. And like my project with Membean, that process has been very productive for me as a teacher.